peace, and blessings. Beautiful souls, I am Brandi L. Bates, author of Moonshine for the Soul, The Art of Grind, and many more books. You are now tuned in to Power Podcasts, the Empower Hour. I want to sincerely thank you for your presence and your time. You can find most of these podcasts archived on YouTube via the I Am Brandi Bates YouTube channel. But please subscribe and follow us on iTunes, Podomatic.com, and of course SoundCloud. Again, in this loud, crazy world full of other podcasts and other shit to distract you, I just want to say thank you sincerely for rocking with me. Like, share, and stimulate dialogue. Spark creative thought and kick truth to power. Rumi said, move, but don't move the way fear makes you move. Move, but don't move the way fear makes you move. Each and everything you want in this life will more than likely come about through your forward movement. Nothing happens until you move. If you change nothing, nothing changes. They really unpack that statement. I know it sounds simple, but if you change nothing, you don't change anything about your habits or your mindset, or who you're surrounding yourself with, or new ideas, refined concepts, nothing changes. We got to start devouring books that reveal new territories of unimaginable possibilities. Like for some of us, that means getting into some science fiction. Some of us, it means getting outside of our box. Some of us, it just means picking up a fucking book, period. One thing I hate about social media and just with all of the bombardment of stuff, we don't read for pleasure anymore, you know? When that is where you get so many ideas. Seriously. Ideas don't just fall out of the sky. Not some new, fundamentally life-altering, world-changing, high performance information. In order to even have the receptors to receive it, you have to create a vacuum. You have to create a space for it, right? You have to get radical in your 10x massive action realness. I call it 10x massive action realness. Like, sign up for some shit that scares you and force yourself to grow and meet that challenge. So that might look like signing up for a half marathon in 6 months. That might look like enrolling in creative writing or business school classes or hiring a personal trainer. Whatever gets you up and off your ass. Can we be grown and transparent up in here? And being busy is not the same thing as being productive. Just because you're sitting there on your smartphone or your laptop and you are going through the motions, that doesn't mean you're productive, right? I always say I always prefer to do income producing activities when my energy is highest. When early in the morning when you wake up, that's when your fuel tank, your fuel is full. Your tank is full. And it's expedient that be your time to get the most mind requiring activities out of the way. But whatever gets you up and juiced, right? How do you know if you're being productive or just busy spinning your wheels? Well, Ask yourself, what have you shipped? What have you produced? Like, get real with yourself. Because sometimes you got to check yourself. What have you shipped? What have you produced? What have you made? What have you created? What have you manufactured? What have you built? What have your results been? What's your fruit looking like? Your harvest. You will know them by their fruit. What are you harvesting? Because one thing about nature is if you sow apple seed, you're not going to get cantaloupe. You're not going to get evergreens. If you sow apple seeds, you're going to get apple trees, right? But for some strange reason, we think we can sow a certain kind of seed and harvest some other shit. Like, it doesn't work that way. Not that I've seen. But insanity, according to Albert Einstein, is defined as doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And they said he was a genius. Now, I don't know. I never met the man. But he's said to be a genius. And he said insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And yet somehow billions and millions and millions and millions of people are living life at this level. And you really just gotta ask yourself, are you living at this level that you're getting up doing the same shit day in and day out, the same shit, okay? And praying and hoping and wishing, all while not actually making any moves or forward movement. You don't get results without massive action. And if you put in 10%, guess what, baby? You lucky if you get 10% out. But I promise you, if you put 100% in whatever it is, you're going to get literally 100% out. Now, it might not come when you want it. It may not come when you expect it, but you're going to get out of it whatever you put into it. And the number one way to make strong improvements in your life easily is to associate with people who you want to be like and who you want to live like, right? And don't apologize for whatever your desires are, for whatever your goals and your aspirations and your dreams, because you came here with some shit that you were intended to do. And sometimes when you talk about that to people who are not on your level or not even near your vibrational frequency, not saying you're better than them or they're better than you, but just y'all not on the same wavelength, right? You talk to them and to them you sound real crazy, or it sounds really left field because they weren't meant to carry out your mission. But be with people who inspire and rejuvenate you. Oprah said, surround yourself only with people who are going to lift you higher. I really live my life by that. And so I can only talk about, what I'm living. Surround yourself with people who are either on the same mission as you or who are smarter than you. At this stage in my life, personally, it's my goal to place myself in rooms where I am in no way the smartest person. I don't even want to be the smartest person in the room because I know that there is so much more shit that I need to know. And if I'm bumping my gums and talking about what I know, then I don't have the ears to receive what I don't know. Because I'm trying to learn as much as possible to fuel my forward movement and to propel my journey. This universe belongs to the magicians of energy, frequency, and vibration. Energy, frequency, and vibration. When you strip away all of the isms and all of the traditional ideas and concepts, and you just get down to the meat and potatoes of it, get down to the skeleton of it, right? Get down to the frame. It's energy, frequency, and vibration. And that magician is waiting there inside of you. It is the knower. It is the seeker. It is the observer. Nothing happens until you observe it. Waiting like a genie in a bottle, literally, to help you birth a life that is pure symphony of peace and harmony. Understanding that money is energy and abundance is a frequency. I'm going to say that again. Money is energy. Understand, money is energy. Abundance is a frequency. And so when you tap in and really understand how this shit works, that's why sometimes very, very wealthy people, they're not even that smart. Because you don't have to be smart to be wealthy. You just have to tap into a certain frequency. People who are not quote unquote attractive. There's some men who are just to some of us, not that attractive. But somehow they have beautiful, beautiful, beautiful souls attracted to them because they've tapped into a certain energy. They're operating at a certain wavelength. Most of us grew up with the beliefs we've been given. These are based on the personal experiences and belief systems of those who are either rearing us or raising us, or who we spend the most time with, who we work with, who we fellowship with, right? These beliefs aren't our own. And yet we allow them to shape the way we think about and experience certain areas of our lives. And one of the main ones is money and the money energy flow. That's why typically, not always, but typically and historically, the working class begets more working class mindset and mentality. Royalty begets royalty. Not only is it down in the chromosomes and DNA, but the environment reinforces the mentality and influences the aspirations and greater vision. In biology, I was a science major, and in biology, we studied how form fits function. So in other words, birds look the way they look, and their bodies and the aerodynamics of their wings is fashioned to help them in flight. Okay, there's a reason why birds are very light. Even their skeletons, their bones are almost like hollow, right? Fish look the way they look with the gills and because they are fashioned to be able to exist and survive in cold water, in seawater, in salt water, right? So same thing with you. When you get beyond the hair and the nails and the skin, your form meets your function. And you've got to get into an action mindset which enables you to see beyond your present limitations and into what might be. And so what have you bought into or subscribed to which is no longer serving you or your development? Like a lot of us, like you might be going to church or going to a mosque or going to a temple or synagogue and it's not working for you. Like frankly, like your money is not popping physically. You burnt out, right? Let's talk about burnout, right? How do you deal with burnout? Burnout. You were the high achiever in school. You're tired of just always striving, right? What have you bought into or subscribed to, which it just, baby, it's not working for you anymore? Because that's where you find out who has been writing the code and what that code looks like. Garbage in, garbage out. What's coming out? What's coming out in the mix? What's coming out on the screen of your life? Like really, really sit with that today. Meditate on it. Because not only your body, but your mind is capable of some impressive shit. Like, we don't understand. Like, you literally have everything you need in your body to heal just about most so-called disease and chronic diseases and lifestyle diseases, if you would do certain things. Which is why it just makes no sense that people continue to get sick from things that we've already studied and we already understand how it works. We know that if your body is alkaline, cancerous cells cannot take up residence in an alkaline body. We know this. And yet, what do? We keep eating bullshit, right? We keep consuming trash. We keep eating food stuff instead of actual organic food, whole food, right? And then we wonder why we get fucked up and why you sick and why our lives are cut short. It's not really, getting down on anyone. It's just coming to the realization of what is working and what's not. Fashion your body and your mind into what you need it to be for your forward movement. Allow yourself to be challenged. Orenda. Familiarize yourself with this concept of Orenda. And Orenda is the Iroquois. Those are a name of a native tribe. A Mexam, Turtle Island, what we know as the United States Corporation, right? The Iroquois, the natives, a tribe. They called this name Orenda for a spiritual energy. And it was like the best way to define it is a spiritual energy that is inherent in people and in the environment. It's in the trees. It's in the animals, the birds, the fish. It's in the butterflies. It's in each blade of grass. It's an extraordinary invisible power believed by the Iroquois or Iroquois Indians to pervade, like in varying degrees, in all animate and inanimate natural objects, rocks, lava, storms, even as a transmissible spiritual energy capable of being exerted according to the will of its possessor. And now we see this in action in like Disney movies and Marvel action movies, movies that involve superheroes, legends of, Batman and Superman and Wakanda, right? And Avengers. Orenda it's a mystical force present in all people. And it empowers us to affect the world, or to affect change, at least, in our own lives. Your Orenda. And Orenda is present in nature, right? Storms are said to possess Orenda. A strong connection exists between prayers and songs and music and the golden mean of everything with life in it and Orenda. So have you ever wondered why do we name storms? Why do they name storms? Have you ever thought about that? I'm like, why do they name storms? But all growth, that being said, understand that all growth is from within, really. And this is evident in all of nature, every plant, every animal, every bacterium, every virus, every microorganism, every human is a living testimony to this great law. And the error of the ages is in looking for strength or power from things that are outside of you. That's the problem. That's the rub. That's the caveat. You're looking for shit outside of you that really is not even able to provide you what you need. It's like self-esteem. If your self-esteem is not right, I don't care how fine you are. I don't care what your money looking like. I don't care how many degrees you have. I don't care how spectacular you believe you are. You will be a shell of a person if your self-esteem is not set up properly. You will get fucked over in this life. And you can take that how you want to take it, because that can look however you define it to look. But the inner work has to be done first. Like, we try to go to school and get all this education, and then we work these insane jobs and get just done so dirty so that we can make the money to live a life that is not even fulfilling. And someone once said, nothing ever belonged to you. All the shit you think belonged to you, it never belonged to you. Even you will be returned. And so don't get attached. Like, that's been my living study this whole month, has been about attachment and detachment. And really, like, when you study all of the great wise prophets and poets and wise men and women who've come before us, they all talked about not clinging, because that's where even clinging and holding on to an idea of how some shit's supposed to play out. And so when it doesn't play out like that, you and your feelings, right? And if you and your feelings long enough, you and your feelings day in and day out and week in and week out and month in and month out, and guess what? You start looking like those feelings. They start to manifest on your face, on your countenance. They start to manifest in the way you walk, in the way you talk, in the way you enter a building, in the way you enter relationships. People can smell it. They can sense it on you. So stay out your feelings. All growth is not only from within, it's optional. Because you don't have that. We all know 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds that have the mentality and the mindset of like a 22-year-old. And I know people who are 18 who mentally, it's like you dealing with a 36 or a 38-year-old. But nothing ever belonged to you. Everything you've experienced was needed to aid you on your journey. This is the formula. Get into this. The fact that your time, listen, watch this. The fact that your time on this planet, above ground, and in that particular body is limited and finite. The fact that this is true will either frighten the shit out of you and put flames beneath you, or it will empower and galvanize you. But treat every moment as your last. It's not preparation for something else. This is no practice rehearsal life. You don't get a practice life. This is it, baby. In that body, in this era, whether you believe in reincarnation or, dust to dust, ashes to ash, whatever, that particular life, look in the mirror, that person you see, you get one go around. You get one rodeo. And so look at what you're all about and what you do day in and day out. Not what you claim to stand for. Fuck all the shit you talk about and what you put on your little bios and social media. No, who are you behind closed doors when nobody is looking? What are you into? Right? Embedded in that, you're going to find what's either propelling you forward or holding you back. Period. Get into this. Get into your Orenda, because we are all fragmented energy from the same source. All of us. You track your DNA. I don't care what you look like. Track your DNA back far enough. And guess what, baby? It's going back to the Congo. Okay? If you have melanin in your skin, I promise you, you have Congo blood in your veins. I don't care how pale you look or lack of melanin. Trace that tree back far enough and you will find it in sub-Sahara Africa, what we know as Africa, right? But beyond that, there's this similar thread running through all of us. And that's why the more fucked up shit gets in the world, even when you're distanced from it, you still are affected by it because we're all connected on a vibrational level. Connected. Where we place our awareness maps our destiny. Where we place our awareness. Awareness, not just in how to do better or how to be better or how to become better, but what you spend your predominant energy on, your predominant thoughts, your predominant vocabulary, your predominant hangout spots, your predominant mindset, predominant mentality, predominant habits, right? That's going to map out where you end up. And so I challenge you today. If you hear the sound of my voice, I challenge you today to begin to produce work that fuels your best self. And I'm not just talking about your job or your vocation or what you're studying, what your major is, what you're getting your master's in, or what you're working on your bachelor's of science, or, but your legacy. How will we remember you 100 years from now? Will we remember you 100 years from now from some random shit you left on your Twitter account or your Facebook? Or will we remember you from building empires, raising healthy children who come to shake up and turn this world upside down? Will we remember you for leaving an inheritance for your children and your children's children? Will we remember you for not doing shit? Because you did nothing and left nothing and produced nothing. How you allocate your own resources can make your life turn out to be exactly as you hope or very different from what you intend. And what are your resources? Your time. Even if you have 5 to 10 minutes, that's 5 to 10 minutes. You can read a book. When you're in the car or you're on the train or you're in your Uber, you can listen to a podcast as opposed to just tricking it off, doing nothing, right? You get up an hour before you need to be getting ready for work or whatever. That's an hour you can go for a jog. You can get in a quick little CrossFit workout. You can make yourself a nutritious smoothie, or you just tricking it off like doing nothing. No judgment. But life is a constant cycle of renewal, rebirth, and destruction. Think about it. You're not the same person. Every 7 years, you're a different person. Every 7 years, your cells, the cells in your body, are transforming themselves. They're living, they're growing and reproducing, and then they're dying. The cells in your body, every 7 years. Renewal, rebirth, destruction. And this is as above, so below. It's happening on a macro level and on a micro level. Everything that's happening to the cells of your body is happening to your life. On the physical plane, on the mental plane, and on a spiritual plane. You're either going through a storm, any storm. It could be a financial storm. It can be a physical, you're having health difficulties. It could be a storm with your children. It can be a storm with your partner. It could be a storm with your husband or your wife or your career up in shambles, up in smoke, right? But you are either going through a storm, coming out of a storm, or in the valley, or you're about to endure a new storm. No different from winter, spring, summer, fall, all day, every day, all year, every year, for decades, for centuries. Winter, spring, summer, fall. Winter, spring, summer, fall. How that looks for you is up to you. That's what they didn't tell us. Ebb and flow are inherently present in all things. When you go to the beach, you go to the ocean, and you watch those waves smack the coast, smack the sand, go back, retreat, come back, retreat. That's your life is doing that. You're going to get opportunities, and then you're going to go through the valley. Opportunities, the valley. Opportunities, the valley. Now, your valleys, the depths, can be, earth shattering, or they can just be, low energy. That's up to you. What do I mean? Ebb and flow, wave and particle, seasons and cycles. It's the discrete math of the universe. Stay with me. Why is intention and why is intuition superior to reason? Because it does not depend upon experience or memory, and frequently brings about the solution to our problems by methods concerning which we are in entire ignorance. That's why, think about a time when you've listened to your intuition and you've really followed your gut, and in your mind you heard a voice and it told you to do something and you did it. You didn't know why you did it, but it just felt like the right thing to do, and you did it. And it saved your life, or it prevented just complete chaos, or costing you a whole lot of money, or headache, or heartbreak, or spared you from disease, or spared you from being shot, or put in prison, or ending up handicapped, right? Because without getting into a whole lot of big words and a whole lot of shit that might not make sense for everybody listening to this, Orenda, that thread that runs through all of us and runs through every living thing, it has memory in it. It has memory in it. And it's almost like mapping the human genome. It's like mapping. Once you get something built, you can start to see how it works based on what's going on with everybody. But renewal, rebirth, and destruction. Renewal, rebirth, and destruction. In your cells, in the cells of your body, renewal, rebirth, and destruction. In your life, you will come against and come up and experience the beauty of renewal, rebirth, and destruction. For some people, it's every 5 years. And that's another thing. Look at the pattern. What is the pattern on your life? Every 7 years, what's going on with you? Where were you? What did your life look like 7 years from now? And before that, 7 years from that, how did it look? How did your life look 10 years ago? And before that, 10 years before that? And your relationships, and your actions, your motivations, your fears. It gives rise to a lot of what the next 7 years or 10 years are going to look like because of patterns. Horu or Horus, Mithra, Krishna, Dionysus, Christ, all born of virgins, all resurrected. I'm going somewhere. Just stay with me. They all represented renewal, rebirth, and destruction. Horus, the eye of Horus, right? Born of a virgin 5,000 years ago. Do your own research, folks. Don't take everything I say as gospel. Take it, Google it, Bing it, DuckDuckGo it, go to the library, but learn for yourself. Horus, 5,000 years ago. Born of a virgin, star in the east, walked on water, healed the sick, restored sight, crucified, was dead for 3 days, and then resurrected. Horus the Elder, or Horus the Great, the last born of the first 5 original gods, and Horus the Younger. This is Egyptian mythology, folks. The son of Osiris and Isis. Those are the Greek names, by the way. We call them Osar, Osset, right? The Medu Neter, the cult of Isis. The cult of Isis to this day still exists, but the cult of Isis was the most popular mystery cult in Rome. The Romans. And it was greatly, it influenced the development of Christianity. And this is the oldest known story of the Trinity and the oldest figure of renewal, rebirth, and destruction. Then there was Mithra, 3,200 years ago, born of a virgin, born on December 25th, star in the east, had 12 disciples, performed miracles, right? Died for 3 days and resurrected. Mithra. He has 12 satellites, which are taken as the sun's disciples. The 12 major planets, the 12 tribes, right? The 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12 houses in the sky. All figures of this. The sun's great festivals are observed in the winter solstice and the vernal equinox, right? That's Christmas and that's Easter. And his symbol, Mithra, is the lamb. This is ancient Babylonian history. The Persians. Then there was Krishna, right? Rebirth, renewal, and destruction. Krishna, 2,900 years ago, was born of a virgin, star in the east, performed miracles, called Son of God, and was the son of a carpenter. He too resurrected. So even today, when an Indian person calls on Krishna, he's often saying Krista. Krista is a Sanskrit word meaning attraction. So when they address God as Christ, Krista or Krishna, they indicate the same all-attractive supreme personality of Godhead. And even both Yeshua and Krishna withdrew to the wilderness as adults and fasted. Both were identified as the seed of the woman bruising the serpent's head. Get into this. I'm telling you. Do the math for yourself. Jesus was called the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Krishna was called the Lion of the tribe of Saki. Both claimed, I am the resurrection. Both referred to themselves having existed before their birth on earth. Both were, quote unquote, without sin. Both were God-men, being considered both human and divine. You're in all of this. I'm going to try to pull it together. Dionysus, 2,500 years ago, was born of a virgin, born on December 25th, was a traveling teacher. He too turned water to wine and was called a holy child. We get into some Greek mythology. Dionysus, the god of the grape harvest, winemaking and wine of fertility, ritual madness, right? Religious ecstasy and theater in ancient Greek religion and myth. And Dionysus was son of Zeus and Persephone, queen of the underworld. Why am I telling you this? The jealous Hera sent the Titans to rip the child to pieces by distracting it with toys and mirrors. And after they dismembered him, same thing happened to Osiris. Same figure. Renewal, rebirth, destruction. The Titans, after they dismembered him, ate all the pieces except the heart, which was saved. And Zeus destroyed the Titans with lightning. And it was out of their ashes that humanity was created. So the heart was to impregnate this woman who gave birth to Dionysus again, rebirth. And so on a deeper level, Dionysus was identified as a powerful force that governed and controlled the universe. See, we give names to storms because we need to personify phenomenon to bring it to our level to understand it, to wrap our minds around it. But in this sense, he's not only the divine spark inside of us, he's also the beacon for ethical and moral action and forward movement, as well as the gateway to, eternal salvation. And what is eternal salvation? It depends on what it looks like to you. It's how you define it. Because for some of us, eternal salvation is some mythical place in the sky. For some of us, it's just, cashing out, living good, eating good, living in the type of house you want to live in, driving the kind of car you want to drive, and riding off in the sunset with who you want to ride off into the sunset with, right? So it's about drawing parallels in your life. Create a legendary life. Symphony of peace and harmony. It's not always about doing more shit, but being and doing effective, efficient, impactful shit. Between the internet, and modern science, and the guesswork has been taken out of much of what we used to be dumbfounded about, which is, to me, I don't understand why in 2019 and 2020, the year 2020 and so forth and so on, I won't say that the field has been leveled completely, but it's been leveled enough to ball out. It's been leveled enough to get ahead and to get yours. Charles F. Honnell in the Master Key System, one of my favorite books that I recommend everybody to read at least once a year. He says, you cannot entertain weak, harmful, negative thoughts 10 hours a day and expect to bring about beautiful, strong, and harmonious conditions by 10 minutes of strong, positive, creative thought. In other words, if you're negative all damn day and night and you pray for 3 minutes and you think that little 3-minute prayer, or you meditate and go to yoga, you do your little yoga, downward dog, right? And you're, caught up in the zen and the moment of universal truth. But the rest of your day, you messy, you foul, you backstabbing. Guess what? Guess what you're going to create? Guess what you're harvesting? Guess what you're bringing into your reality? So, which is another reason you absolutely must remove yourself from the presence of birds, from negative, cynical, broke, unmotivated, lazy, trash-minded bums. Sometimes, these people, they are your family, or they are your coworkers. And you have no other choice. But understand that the longer you are in communication with them, the longer you remain locked in that reality. And watch out for weaponized social media, and understand that your online footprint is constantly being recorded. And not even on conspiracy theory shit, but 100 years from now, if you have kids or you have nieces and nephews or grandkids, what are they going to think about you when they find all of this stuff that you're creating and putting out there? Is it something that you want to be remembered for? Is this how you want to represent yourself? Are you putting your best representation of your gifts and skills and legacy out there? Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Oprah, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates. You notice you never see them at the Super Bowl or the Oscars or anything like that, because they don't hang out and chill and shoot the shit. They just don't. You never see, they never get, TMZ never gets like Warren Buffett just chilling, right? They don't, because he's not out there living that way. It's a reason he's the wealthiest man and has been one of the wealthiest individual for years. Because nothing that we send out returns to us void. If we send out thoughts of fear, worry, jealousy, anger, hate, etc., we will reap the results in our own lives. Your vision needs to rise into an obsession before your business will become a movement. Before whatever you stand for, your art, your music, the restaurant you want to bring to pass. Our future is entirely within our own control. It's not at the mercy of any capricious or uncertain external malicious power or force. You want to know how you'll look in the next 10 years? Take a good look at what you're consuming. Take a great look at your genetics and the elders who did the same shit year in and year out. And from there, you'll deduce your outcome. Not what you think once in a while, right? When you're in church or you're at the temple or you're at the synagogue or at yoga, or you've just read a great book, but your predominant mental attitude, that's what's building this thing on out. You are your own worst enemy when it comes to procrastination. And so the formula is about disrupting yourself, disrupting your own misconceived notions and ideas, intimate, loving, enduring relationships with our family and our close friends and soulmates. And this will be among the sources of the deepest joy in our lives. It's not going to come from obtaining a certain amount of money or material objects or other tokens and trinkets and another degree on the wall. Yeah, for a time, it may do something for you, but ultimately those things are hollow vessels. They're hollow vessels. And your connections are nutrient-rich food for your journey and for your transformation. Your connections, your relationships, everything that you want to get is going to come from a man or a woman. Whether it's another job, whether it's more money, whether it's a better contract, whether it's more customers, more clients, more fans, more people you're influencing, more listeners, more supporters. It's going to come from human connection, not from a degree on the wall, not from having 2 sports cars, not from red bottoms and Michael Kors bags, not from necessarily a better job, making a little bit more money, but you still are in debt. You still are not free. That's why we really soar when we're loved properly. You can always tell when somebody is being loved properly, because it produces amazing results. Just imagine yourself performing at the highest level of your life and yet living absolutely beautifully and making this volatile world better in the process, making it beautiful. So thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your presence. Trust your greatness today. Trust that the path will unfold for you. Put massive forward movement and motion behind your ideas. Peace.